Hello there, my name is Lisa and today I am designing for Simple Stories. I am using the romance collection today and I am scrapbooking about this little furry friend, this little sloth. Isn't he cute? We had a sloth encounter whilst visiting Wild Florida in, when was that? August. And this little fella still hasn't been scrapbooked. So he goes so well with the papers. That's such a good match. So I am using him to play with this lovely paper collection today. I have made a start already. I've trimmed down a little on this 12 by 12 white cardstock and stuck it to the back of this 12 by 12 patterned paper. And I've trimmed this strip here as well. I'm still umming and ahhing whether or not to, yes, I think I'm going to trim it down. I want the pink border. So I'm just going to mark off and trim that down, and I'm going to stick that in place. So that's stuck in place. Now I've got a whole load of exciting things. I'm really excited about making this layout. I've got some paints, I've got some mists, I've got my circle cutter, and I've got this old thing here that I'm using as a stencil today. I think it was originally bought for the chipboard heart, and I've honestly bought this probably a good 10 years ago, and it's remained in my stencil box, and every now and then it comes out. As you can see, it's very well loved, or you can see what it originally was here. Gin X coasters. That's really old. And it just makes a really good stencil. So a bit of advice: if ever you see anything where you can punch out shapes, keep the negative and use it as a stencil. They're always really handy. So let's get some paint on this page. That's not paint. Let's get some paint on this page. And I'm just going to develop a little bit of a background behind the photograph before I start sticking anything else on. So I'm going to use some paint. I didn't want this to be too dark, which is why I'm using a cream on the white, but I just want something behind, and then I'm going to use the stencil. So this can dry. Get just a little bit more on there, and then I'm going to get that stencil on this. I'm going to leave that to dry for actually I was going to add a little bit of pink as well. Let's open this up. I only want a tiny little bit of this because I don't want it to be too dark, but just mixed in a little bit with the cream there. Let's do a sideways one. There we go, and that can be drying. So the paint's nice and dry. I'm just going to lay this over the top, kind of like in the middle like that, but I'm not going to do it all over. I've got a paler sponge sugar distress stain here because I don't want it too thick. There we go. And I am going to add a tiny bit of green, and I'm just going to flick that over, but I don't want too much on there, which is why I'm just flicking it a bit, just for a tiny bit of colour. There we go. And I'm going to leave that to dry now as well. This has dried really nicely. I'm really pleased with this finish. So it's dry and I can now continue. I've been thinking about cutting this down to add behind my photo just to see how that will look. I have got the white border on, so it is separating it from the design, but I'm going to cut it out anyway and just see how it looks. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. It's not a perfect match. I would have liked a little bit extra around there. I could obviously trim the frame of the photo, but I don't want to. I like that thick white border. That will sit here. Now I want some circles. I have a thing for circles, so let's get the circle cutter here. I have been using this for goodness knows how many years. It's lasted really well. It's creative memories. It was one of those, you know, those evenings where people come along and try and sell you things. It was ages and ages and ages ago, probably 12, 13 years ago, something like that. But I've used it so many times and I really like it. But I'm going to do a load of circles with this. So let's have a look. What I am going to do actually is check which side. Might use that one, probably won't use these ones. So let's do the circles down here. I always remember forget even which way. I think this is the smaller one, so we need to do this one first, and we're going around the outside, so you have to hold it still, and it's like a glass topped mat or something like that. So the idea is then that, where's the blue one that I wanted? I don't think I've done this very well. No, I've done it really badly. The idea is that it's supposed to sharpen the blades as you do it. I've done it the wrong way around. I was supposed to do the blue. Right, take two. Let's try that again. Ignore what I said about the other thing underneath. We need to do the blue first, making sure there's enough space. I haven't used it for a while, and I completely forgot. There's that one, and now the smaller one, so that holds it in place. And I can use those circles on something else. That goes like that. I have 2 circles now for a future project. And I also wanted to do, I was going to do it on there actually, but I quite like the postcards. Let's do the postcards as well. Obviously you're not going to get the full design, but I like it, the design. So I want the blue one first, and I was going to overlap these, and I may do another one actually. My fingers do hurt doing that though. Right, let's move all this out the way. So I've added 3 circles, and I like that. I like the colour contrasts. That's really cool. And now to start playing, and I'm just going to put in some bits and pieces and just stickers and see what works where. So I've laid up, I've got a little bit of chipboard, I've got some of the bits and pieces and the 12x12 sticker sheet. And I've got some of the 4x6 sticker sheets here, so I'm going to have a look through some of these and add a few final finishing touches. I think that's it. We do need a little bit of journaling, so I'm going to add some of that. And for the journaling, I am going to add a few journal lines down here. Just keeping it quite simple. And that's my finished page. The journaling says, a special treat to celebrate Holly's 18th whilst we were away, a sloth encounter. He was the sweetest little thing and surprisingly very soft. There we go, kisses for the sloth. I hope you've enjoyed my page today. I absolutely love this collection from Simple Stories. It's definitely a favourite of mine. Those colours are beautiful. If you have any questions, please do ask, and I shall see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.